You know what I got. Yeah. We all got potential. Uh-huh. Yeah. We may not all have money, but we all got potential. Potential to be anything that we can dream. Yeah. So get ready. Here we go. Whoever dreamed that I could be a great example of what man can achieve. If he believes and pursues that dream, in time, potentially, in time, potentially. Whoever knew that I could go to any place my heart says so. I'm gonna make it deep inside, I know, in time, potentially, in time, potentially.
Nothing is impossible
If you believe,
conceive, achieve, and live by the dream.
live by the dream.
Walk the talk and talk the walk and mean
What you say,
Throw the old
life away,
throw the old
throw it away. 'Cause I've got
potential
to be what I dream.
what I dream.
I can see, yeah. I believe I can be, yeah. In time, potentially. In time, potentially. Whoever knew that I could go to any place my heart says so. Gonna make it deep inside, I know. In time, potentially. In time, potentially. Nothing is impossible to them that believe. Deceive, conceive, achieve, and live by the dream. Walk the talk and talk the walk and mean what you say. Throw the old life away. I've got potential to be what I dream. I can see it. I believe I can be in time, potentially. Time, potentially. In time, potentially. Oh, in time, potentially. You gotta be patient. In time, potentially. In time. Wow and wow. Welcome, 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 good people. God bless you. God bless you. Welcome to another session with me, your host, Bishop Wayne Malcolm, the business bishop, live and direct. And this is Tuesday night, dedicated to some blessed business coaching tips. And great to see Janine. Welcome, Janine. And listen, wherever you're coming in from, please do write in the chat box. Let me know where you're coming in from. And yeah, great. David, good to see you, brother, from Cyprus. Fantastic. Faith Boy is here. Woo! Great, great, great. Well, please do keep it coming in and do keep the chat box live and kicking. All right, keep that chat box live. Of course, I would like you to subscribe, like, and share. Hey, Tina, I'd like you to subscribe, like, and share. And that will cause YouTube to show this post to anyone that's interested. So please do go ahead and subscribe, like, and share. Great to see you. Okay, we are going to have a blast tonight. We're going in deep. So I'm on the tail of an incredible weekend, like phenomenal weekend. The Wisdom to Wealth Masterclass was just simply epic. And I've got some more news about that at the end. So are you ready to roll? Are you ready to roll? Oh, let me check my sound effects. Okay, let me try it again. Are you ready to roll? Okay, great. Great to see South Africa. Great to see Connecticut. All right, let's do this. Hey, thank you guys. I have no idea why that sound suddenly clicks off every now and again, but thank you for letting me know. So hopefully you can hear me now. I think you can hear me now. I hope you can hear me now. If you can, let me know that you can hear me loud and clear, and I'll just continue. So tonight I'm going to be talking about the power of persuasion, the power of persuasion, and of course, how many of you know that we were all born into the world with the power of persuasion? Okay, how many know that we were born persuading our parents? Yes, we were. We were born crying, and this was the only tool we had for influencing decisions. Thank you all so very much. Thank you all so very much. So we were all born with this power of persuasion. We literally came into the world persuading our mother, right? And and I guess as we've gone through life, we've learned how to influence outcomes by shedding light on situations and circumstances. And so when I think of persuasion, I do not think of it in the sense of convincing people to do something they don't want to do just because you want them to do it. I really think of persuasion in terms of enlightening people so that they can make the best choices, right? So we typically make the best choices in light, and we make poor choices in the dark. And because we're always making choices, what we fundamentally need is more light. And the more light in the room, the better the quality of the decisions that we're going to make, certainly directions that we're going to go in. So I'm really talking about how we can shine light on situations and circumstances, on opportunities, how we can shine light on those things so that people around us can make quality decisions and the best choices that lead to the very best outcomes. So I want to talk about this power of persuasion, and it's going to be fascinating, right? So I'm going to kick off with the battlefield of business, the battlefield of business. I'm going to talk about your word as your weapon. I'm going to draw a little lesson from the Greek philosopher Aristotle. I'm going to talk about the components of a persuasive argument, and then I'm going to challenge you to make your statement, right? To make your statement. And if you're excited already, please send up some fire in the chat box, because I think we're going to put a major key in someone's hand today. So I I want to start by looking at the battlefield of business, because I guess most of us think of business as a mission field, right? We think of business as a mission field, uh, in which we pretty much set our eyes on a prize, we set our eyes on a goal, and we embark on a journey, the entrepreneurial journey, and we identify a route, a path. Perhaps we get sight of a map that shows us how to get from where we are to where we want to be, and we embark on this journey, and we think of this as an adventure, as an expedition, and as a mission. But it doesn't take long before you realize that there are obstacles in the way, that there are opponents and enemies, there's antagonism, there's hostility, and there are factors and forces that really don't want you to make it where you want to go. As that point that you realize that business is more of a battlefield than it is a mission field. It's more of a battlefield than it is a mission field, because you realize that you're actually battling against factors and forces that would rather you turn around and go back to wage slavery, right? They would rather you turn around and settle for survival, right? So that your focus and obsession becomes surviving and not thriving. So 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 I want to be real about business and say that actually, business is an arena of spiritual warfare. And when you embark on the entrepreneurial journey, you're entering a battlefield. In some cases, you're entering a minefield. and and it's not for the weak, it's not for the faint-hearted, it's actually for the strong, it's for the tough, right? It's for the resilient, it's for the committed, the dedicated, and the determined. And it's so important that we are super realistic about the challenges that we're going to face, in the business arena. Now, how many of you know that I'm telling the truth? Because you've gone into business, perhaps initially with some naiveties about what it might take to succeed and to win. But that naivety was quickly stripped away from you when you realize that actually I've got a fight on my hands, right? I've got a fight on my hands. So if you're one of those people who realized early that there's a battle here, please say something in the chat box. Okay, so when it comes to the battlefield of business, I think one of the mistakes people make is they start looking at other people in the same arena and seeing them as the enemy, right? And I think a lot of that philosophy was taught in traditional business schools where we were made to see others as opponents with whom we were to compete. And so we were competing with the business next door. We were competing with the business across the road. We got upset if anyone else did something that sounded vaguely familiar, that vaguely resembled the things that we were doing, and we would get upset, right? Because we thought of it as a competitive space. But I want you to know that the more people that are in your business, the better for you. Okay, it's all good. It's all good for you, because the real enemy is not the business next door. The real enemy is not the business across the road. The real enemy is not the business who started before you or the business that starts alongside you. The real fight, the real battlefield is a battle of ideas. It's a battle of ideas. And I love that so much that I'm going to give it an air horn. When you go into business, you enter into the arena of spiritual warfare and of intellectual warfare and ideological warfare, because this is a battle of ideas. And we are living right now in an age of conflicting ideas, okay? So we're living in an age of conflicting political ideas, conflicting economic ideas, conflicting social, religious, and moral ideas. And there is conflict in the atmosphere, and there's a battle for ideological superiority. I'm going to say it again. There's a battle on for ideological superiority. Who has the best idea is the one that wins. Who has the most credible idea is the one that wins. Who has the most visible and vocal idea is the one that wins. And so in this conflict, we're looking at old versus new. That's a big, arena of intellectual and ideological warfare. Old versus new, analog versus digital. How many of you got caught up in that kind of a battle, right? That whole transition from the old world to the new digital world literally claimed many casualties as people were far too slow to catch on to the revolution. We're at the dawn of a new kind of a revolution. We're looking at analog versus digital. Sorry, we're looking at people versus AI. Okay, do I employ a team of people to do this, or do I invest in an artificially intelligent solution? And then there's the whole thing of quality versus quantity. Quality versus quantity. So what are these? These are basically conflicting ideas. All right, and we are in this battle for ideological superiority. And that's the age in which we live, whether it's politics, whether it's business, whether it's social norms and mores and values, whether it's religious, whether it's moral. We're living in the battlefield right now is ideological, okay? And that's why there's so much noise in the media and on social media. It's like there's a battle for ideological superiority and ideological supremacy. And I think it's important that we understand that when we go into business, that we are battling ideas, right? So given that the battle of ideas is raging, your only weapon is your word. Woo! Help me now. I said your only weapon is your word. Because once you actually understand that this is an ideological confrontation, that there is a battle for ideological supremacy and superiority, and that this battle is raging in every sector and facet of human life, then the only way you are going to be able to fight is to send your word ahead of you, to send your word into the mix, to send your word. And those of you that are coming from a spiritual place like myself, that phrase resonates with you. Send your word ahead of you. And because that's God's style, all right? So God creates through the agency of his word. All right. So, and God heals through the agency of his word, and God delivers through the agency of his word, and God conquers evil through the agency of his word. And so sending your word into the ideological and intellectual battlefield makes a lot of sense. That is your primary weapon in this battlefield, particularly for entrepreneurs and business owners and self-determined individuals, is to send your word into the mix. So here's what that means. It means you have to make the case for your business. You have to make the case for your business. You cannot simply assume that people will read your sign, see your website, see your offers, and that they're actually simply going to agree. Because at the same time that they see your sign, they see your website, they see your email, they're also seeing another 15, 20, 30 other emails offering similar things at similar prices, with similar features and similar benefits. And at that point, you realize that it's not enough to simply say who you are. It's not enough to simply say what you do. It's not enough to simply say what you can do, but you literally have to make a case for your business, almost as though your business is on trial, right? And that you are the defense. Okay, you are the defense, and you are in the face of prosecution, right? And you are going to have to make a case in defense of your business and of your offers. You have to make the case, because if you don't make the case, then a case will be made against you, right? So really, I guess what I'm doing tonight is trying to snap us out of the idea that simply stating who you are, what you do, and what you can get done is not enough. You have to make a case for it. And in making the case, therein is that power of persuasion. So today, I want to talk about how you can make a case for your business and for your offers, right? And your offers are simply what it is that your business can do for others. So let's take this a little bit further and say that your word is your weapon. Your word is your weapon if it impacts on head, heart, and hands. If it impacts on head, heart, and hands. If it impacts on what? Head, heart, and hands. What do I mean by impacts on head, heart, and hands? I mean that, number one, it makes sense, right? Your offer makes sense. Your business makes sense. Your proposition makes sense. What you are, the rationale behind your products and services makes sense. But number two, so that way it impacts the head. Number two, it impacts the heart because it elicits emotion. It elicits emotion because we know that the greater percentage of our decisions, particularly our buying decisions, our economic decisions, are emotionally inspired, emotionally led, and emotionally driven, right? We actually connect with, we resonate with, we feel the offer, and we don't just hear it, right? So it's got to impact the head, it's got to impact the heart, and ultimately it needs to impact the hands, which is the metaphor for motion. In other words, it needs to move us to action. So your word is your weapon if it impacts on head, heart, and hands. If it makes sense, elicits emotion, and moves to action. One more time. Your word is your weapon if it impacts head, heart, and hands. That is, it makes sense, it elicits emotion, and it moves to action. So I want you to begin thinking about your message, about your statement, about your case, about how you're describing your business, how you're describing your offers, how you're describing who you are, why you're here, what you can do, for your customers and for your clients. It's very important that you create a case, right? That you craft a case, right? That makes sense, elicits emotion, and moves to action. And I want to give some keys to that tonight. And if you'd be happy for me to give some keys to that, let me see your fire in the chat box. So here goes. So I want to draw a lesson from Aristotle, the Greek philosopher Aristotle. The Greek philosopher Aristotle, and thanks for that question, Bakes. I'm going to answer that right at the end, right? So the Greek philosopher Aristotle taught that a speaker's ability to persuade an audience is based on how well the speaker appeals to that audience in 3 different areas, right? And the 3 areas he describes as ethos, logos, and pathos. Ethos, logos, and pathos, so that there were fundamentally 3 components to a persuasive argument. As far as he was concerned, when he looked at an argument or a case that was convincing, he said there were 3 components to it. And so if you were going to persuade an audience, he said you needed to be quite intentional about including these 3 components in your speech or in your presentation. So I'm going to go into those 3 components right now. And I can see you're excited, so please just keep it going because it inspires me to keep going when I see your fire, your hand claps, your keys, your hearts, your hands clapping in the chat box. So watch this. Consider together these appeals form what later rhetoricians, right? So rhetoric is words, language. So rhetoricians have called the rhetorical triangle. The rhetorical triangle. It's ethos, it's logos, it's pathos, right? This is the rhetorical triangle. And believe it or not, anyone crafting a marketing document, anyone crafting a video to advertise on a social media platform, anyone writing a news sales letter, any person presenting from the stage is actually using this rhetorical triangle, even if they're not aware that this is a philosophy and a concept that was first, penned and documented by Aristotle. The reason I'm using it is because I find it quite biblical, I find it spiritual, I find it inspiring, and he simply discovered a truth about what it takes to shed light on a situation in a way that a person says, you know what, I'm going to make this decision. I'm going to make a decision that serves my destiny. I'm going to make a decision that's in my own interest because I'm making that decision in light and not in darkness. So what is ethos? What is logos? What is pathos? Okay, so here goes. So first of all, ethos, certainly in classical Greek and in Aristotle's use of it, described the character of the speaker. The character of the speaker as in the speaker's credibility. Right? So partly what persuades us is the credibility of the speaker, which is why when you see someone speaking from the stage, maybe they're going to sell something from a stage, maybe they're doing a video that they're going to put out. One of the first things that they're going to do is they're going to state their own credentials, okay? They're going to state their credentials and they're going to say, okay, so this is what I've done with what I had, and I've achieved success in this area, and that's why you should listen to me, because I am starting with my ethos, which is my credibility, and my character. Because see, if we don't believe in you, then we're hardly going to believe anything that comes out of your mouth. So we need to be convinced that the speaker is credible. And this is why, if a coach, right, wants to be like a millionaire coach for you and wants to show you how you can become a millionaire and how you can live the millionaire life, the very first thing they're going to do on the video is they're going to talk about how they went from zero to millions. Then they're going to show you pictures of them alongside other millionaires. They're going to show you pictures of themselves with certain status symbols, whether it's vehicles, whether it's yachts, whether it's jets, whether it's watches, whether it's expensive hobbies. And they're going to show you that, right? Because they know that until you find them credible, you're not going to be able to receive their logos, which is their logic, the rationale behind their argument, and you're not going to connect with them emotionally because there'll be a disconnect. So you're going to see that in virtually every piece of advertising that you will see anywhere. You're going to see attention paid to the ethos. And it's very important that you start to collect evidence of your credibility so that you can show it. Sometimes, you may just be starting. Then just use your experience, right? Because if you're going to show me how to do something, then at least tell me that you did it, how you did it, where you came from, so I can connect to you, I can relate to you. So that's all about the character of the speaker. Now, the logos is actually the rationale, the logic, the rationale of your actual case. And so this is what this is really the speaker, and this is where you get to make a rational case. This is where you get to make sense. And this is where you speak to the head. This is where doing what I'm offering you makes sense, okay? This is where the offer, the solution, the path that I'm presenting to you actually makes sense. It's in your best interest to take it, okay? But it cannot stop there, because what Aristotle realizes that that's not enough. That's not enough. He says that now you're going to have to speak to the heart, okay? You're going to have to elicit an emotional response. And can I tell you what elicits an emotional response is stories. Everyone say stories. Yeah. Stories elicit emotional responses, because through a story, a person can see themselves in your offer. They can see themselves in your business, right? We're moved by stories. We're motivated by stories. Why do you think we have a film industry? Why does Netflix exist? Why does Hollywood exist? Why are we obsessed with stories? Why are we fascinated with other people's lives? We're fascinated with their lives because we can see ourselves in them, right? We vicariously see ourselves in these people. And so that's why we'll watch a movie and we'll be moved to tears, or we'll be moved to a very deep and profound emotion, even though we're not the hero, we're not the villain, okay? We're watching it, but we see ourselves in the story, and the stories elicit emotional responses. Why is there music set to particular scenes? Music is set to those scenes in order to elicit the emotional response, because you cannot enjoy a movie that only appeals to your head. You fundamentally enjoy one that appeals to your head, but appeals to your heart, because you can see yourself in the story. And this is the point at which the speaker lets you know that, look, I understand you. I know what you're afraid of. I know what you're struggling with. I know how hard it feels. I know what you're having to battle with in your mind. I know how hard you have worked. I understand you. And, there was a lady, there was a man, there was a young boy, there was a couple, there was a business owner that I worked with, and then I'll tell you the story. And the story puts you into the picture. These are the components of a persuasive argument or a case. So I want you to think about your business. I want you to think about your offers. I want you to understand that you are in the midst, you are in a battlefield, And it's the battle for ideas. It's an ideological war. It's ideological conflict. It's a battle for ideological supremacy and dominance. And the only way you win is to make your case. And you make your case first with your credibility, that's your ethos. Second, with the logic and rationality of your argument. But thirdly, with stories that resonate with people at a profound level. Once you have crafted your statement, you've crafted your story, you need to practice telling it. You need to practice promoting your business. You need to practice telling people what you do, but put the three things in, right? You practice it. Practice it when you meet strangers. Practice it as you travel. Practice it with your family and friends. Practice it in front of the mirror. Practice it with a microphone. Practice making the case for your business, right? Because as you practice making the case for your business, you'll actually sell yourself on your business. You'll eventually get to the place where you realize this business makes sense. This offer makes sense. And this offer meets me at the point of my need and could radically change my life. And I see a new version of me on the other side of this offer. I see a liberated me. I see an enhanced me. I see a better me on the other side of this offer. So the key is that you must practice making your statement. But if you're going to speak out, speak up, and speak well, you must, number one, target an audience. Understand that everyone is not interested in your case. Right? You are not here to boil the ocean. You are not anointed or assigned to everyone. You are anointed and assigned to a people. And that's a market segment. That's a market niche. That's your target audience. Who's your target? Well, it's very simple. It's the people that would most benefit from what you have to offer. It's the people who would most value what you have to offer. And it is the people who are already looking, sometimes subconsciously, for the things that you have to offer. Those are your target, right? So you need to find your target. You need to find them in terms of the groups that they're affiliated with, the alliances, the networks that they are parts of, so you can advertise there, so you can put your message out there, right? Where your dream customers, your ideal customers are likely to see it. So target an audience. Then number two, create consistent content. What is that? Create consistent content. What is that? Create consistent content. What do I mean by consistent content? I mean that King Solomon wrote 3,000 proverbs and 1,005 songs, okay? I mean that you need to become a content creator and you need to be putting out your message more consistently than anyone else. Right? So some people may have a bigger business than you, a bigger budget than you, a bigger brand than you, but they're not going to have a bigger heart than you and a bigger determination to put out consistent content on a regular basis. Okay? So consistent means if you're posting 3 times a week, post 3 times a week. If you're posting every day of the week, post every day of the week. Whatever you're going to do, be consistent and put out content, because that's how you're making your statement. And finally, use the rhetorical triangle. Make sure that you establish credibility, that your arguments make sense, and that there's a story that transports that person emotionally into the frame. If you can do that, guess what? Guess what? You are going to stand out and you're going to begin to make a profound difference, and you're going to begin to experience victory on the battlefield because your word is your weapon. All right, so I said at the beginning, I'm going to tell you more about Wisdom to Wealth. So I did Wisdom to Wealth at the weekend on Saturday, a masterclass. It was phenomenal, like literally mind-blowing, eye-opening, transformational for everyone that participated. And it was so refreshing and encouraging to me personally that I've decided I'm going to run it again. I'm going to do it again. Woo, woo, woo. I'm going to do it again next month, right? I'm going to do it on April the 6th. Next month, I'm going to run the masterclass class again. And in the description on YouTube below this video, there is a link to the masterclass where you can read all about it and decide to sign up. There's also a link to the webinar that I did from Words to Wealth, which is totally free, that you can simply watch it and get a sense of what it takes to convert your words, and in particularly your life lessons, your life story, your experience, your expertise, into an enterprise, into an income, into a business, into untold wealth. I show you how to do that, but in the masterclass, I take you behind the scenes to reveal the strategies and the secrets that are used by elite thought leaders who are turning their wisdom into wealth on a regular basis. So you can use this QR code to take you to the page, or you can find the link in the description below this video on YouTube. I've had a blast sharing with you tonight. Yes, I've had a blast sharing with you tonight, but I've got to go. You know why I got to go? Because I have some coaching clients waiting for me on a Zoom call right now, so I'm going to dive into the Zoom call. Bakes, if you want to know more about how to work with me, go to the websites that I've said. Go to the websites, and you go to websites, you're going to be able to start that process in motion. All right, I love you all. Keep well. Thank you for telling people to click the like button. Thank you, Sibun Wilson, for telling people to click the like button. Subscribe, like, and share. Subscribe, like, and share. Subscribe, like, and share. Tell your friends all about these blessed business coaching tips with the Business Bishop every Tuesday. And guess what? I post every Tuesday, but I also post every Thursday our Bible study, our Kingdom Conversation, and then on Sundays I post a sermon. So please enjoy my channel, rinse it, share it, tell the world about it. I love you. Shalom and peace out. Good night for tonight. Shalom.